Welcome to Karen Cheng, and good morning from London. Good afternoon, Hong Kong, and welcome to all the people who are viewing this asynchronously after the fact. Here to talk to Karen about humor and the age of the internet, or not the age of the internet, the pandemic age.
Right.
Karen works at 9gag, which is humor in the age of the internet. 9gag is a site with 1.5 million visitors per month who are sharing amazing, hilarious memes, which I'm sure pretty much everybody on the internet has seen at one point or another. They originated on 9gag. 9gag is an amazing global Hong Kong success story. And Karen, what have you seen in terms of this shift in humor as we've gone into pandemic times?
Well, I think it's really interesting because I've never experienced anything like this. I guess we're we're all just like changing our lifestyle in the past couple of weeks. And I guess I think we're not surprised with the volume of human posts because humorous post is just going to happen whenever, anywhere, anytime. We've seen it coming in every day. And we're just surprised by the quality of content. Because we thought, okay, if people are staying at home, first of all, the travel bloggers, all these people that loves travel, all their content is just, going to be gone, because nobody's traveling. And so when they are stuck at home, but they're still using their creativity to create content. And it's just amazing to see, when you see people used to just go travel and go outdoor shoot, they just start shooting at home. Everything's just shifted, the whole production, everything from, your camera to the props that you use is just going to be any household items you can find at home. And I think that's amazing to see that kind of creativity really came out in this lockdown. It's I guess it's not a bad thing if you get to stay safe and then you create something and still keeping that creative juice going on.
Right. So basically people have found new ways to creativity thrives with constraints, I think might be one way to think about it too.
Yeah, sure. And I think we're sharing so much, everything is just so universal now. I feel like before people used to do, create content, humorous content based on, culture, based on a TV show or movie. But now that we all share the same thing around the world, it's beyond language barriers, beyond, cultural differences. We're all just in this pandemic together, and that sort of pain and humor is just shared across universally. So it's actually, it's a very unique time, I would say, for the content that we're seeing.
That's so interesting. So basically, we've once again got a global shared experience, which is something that we'd lost a lot. We've got this, breaking down into silos, people doing their own thing. I'm only interested in my echo chamber, but now once again, we have a global shared topic. By the way,
so
Nick Go says, say hi to Peter, Karen.
Oh, hi.
So I'd like to bring in our live listeners.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some of the trends that you've seen in terms of the specific elements of it? Have you seen an uptick in the number of postings beyond the quality or what they're posting about? Have people been spending more time on 9gag? And
so the traffic, I think that's shared across all different kinds of publishers and any sort of entertainment providers these days. We definitely see people are browsing the internet because honestly our digital devices are crucial when it comes to we're all just relying on our devices now, and content is so crucial now as the source of not just news but as entertainment. And I think what we're seeing now, it's we sometimes, when we have situations global situations where we would ask ourselves if the jokes were too soon, but I think now we're seeing all these content coming in. It's just very uniquely like curated in a way that we're kind of coping it together with the kind of content we're also consuming at the same time. So we're just kind of healing each other with humor, saying it's okay, it's crazy times, but we can still find things that are positive in this situation. And I think that just shows, memes have that effect where we find common threads between different groups of people and different culture, and then we help people or create content that resonates with others. I have some good examples, and I'm sure people here just want to see memes, so I can share my screen.
Okay, great.
So,
yeah, give us concrete examples of what's going on. Let me put this up. Here we go.
Yeah, let's analyze some memes, which
Me getting out of bed at 8:55, start work at 9.
Yeah, so it's like we see, so in the beginning of this pandemic, I think one of the first thing that people are not used to is like, oh, we're all working from home. And working from home, it's not a common thing for a lot of different, different countries. Is not a common thing. At least in Hong Kong, it's not a common thing where people can just work at home. And so we're seeing all these like new memes or content that are coming out about like working at home, or what it's like to work at home. And I think this is a cute example of like, people are sharing that same mentality and that same lifestyle now. That's really interesting.
Right. So
I really like
Uma Rudd is agreeing with you, saying it's so fun, so true that we need to find humor in the heart of pain to ensure we don't kill each other.
Yeah, exactly. When you're in a lockdown, you don't want to be in a Shining movie. So the other thing I really like is, people cope with this whole situation differently, and there's no right or wrong. And I think like when it comes to memes, like especially like we're trying to like sort of embrace each other and, pat on the shoulder and be like, it's okay. You don't have to be that person that works out at home every day and show your abs every day. Like there are 4 different types of people during quarantine. It's either you're overeating, over drinking, you go crazy, you're working out, or, you're coping it in your own way. And I think that's a really nice,
what is the one on the top right? Is this survivalist mode?
Yeah, it's just like a caveman, going a little bit nuts, you're not sure what to do with yourself. But I think this kind of just like gives you some sort of comfort. It's hard to explain it, but it's like it gives you that kind of, comfort that saying, everyone's doing this as well together, and there's no, you're not better or worse than anyone else. So it's just a nice thing.
We're in it together sort of thing. And what's interesting about that is back to your original point about how we're experiencing the same thing around the world. This is something that anybody from Hong Kong to Mumbai to New York to London relate to.
Yeah. There's another one that I like. It's like where people are saying, introverted people that, like the whole, in the world of memes, there's always about like extroverts and introverts and, all these comparisons every time when it comes down to, personality related content. And I think it's really interesting how we're also somehow in this introverted mode right now, because we're all like social distancing. And then that sort of introvert and extrovert type of content still sort of thriving. And talking about, how me as an introvert, I can't believe I can't go outside. And friends, do you even want to go outside? Well, I would like to have that option. It's just like a nice thing about, introvert is still introvert, extrovert is still extrovert in this situation.
But we're all living the same lifestyle.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think there's like so many good stuff that is coming out, and I think we did not expect like people would be, well, I guess like I would say like people are still active, like because they're all on their phones or like still on their laptops and, even at home. But I think the amount of content and the amount of positivity that we share, it's something that I feel like it's very special. Yeah.
Okay, so we do have the same things at the globally, the same experience globally for a lot of people. But what are Nick is asking, do we see any localized elements to that, or different ways that different cultures are reacting to this?
Well, I think we see, it's about like what is involved in when you're creating a piece of content, right? I think like people in different culture maybe share, their own food culture is being, featured in that piece of content. Like when Italians are all on their balcony, cheering with their little champagne glasses, but while in Southeast Asia we see people, cooking their own food at home, and it's like, it's culture wise is different, but we're experiencing the same thing when we're coping in that own way. And I think like cooking videos and things that you can do at home, that kind of content really like helped a lot of people, inspiring people like what they can do at home, and also saying, it's fine as long as you're, living your own life. And I guess like that in that sense, I when I saw different culture doing their own thing, it's actually really beautiful. Yeah.
Right. Interesting. Uma's also saying that she's using the House Party app with every single member in their own room, but playing trivia games against each other, just to create a fake sense of space and give people breathing space.
Oh, absolutely. Because we're seeing a lot of live videos during this time, because, well, obviously everyone's staying at home, but we see, talk show hosts, like Jimmy Fallon, Trevor Noah, they're all doing their own show at home, still providing that entertainment. And I think that's also what 9gag is doing. It's, basically still providing entertainment in this difficult time. And I think the reason why we're seeing a lot of live content is like there's almost like a crave of like live interactions with people. And I think it's not just come from, your work Zoom call, and like I don't consider that as a human interaction. Like having fun with your friends, doing, like a little drinking section with your friends on an app. It's still creating that sense of, we're in this together.
Right. Interesting. Next meme.
Right. Let's see. So this creator, he basically just rewrote the song from Adele, Hello from the Inside. But it's just like we see a lot of like music pieces, people creating the quarantine song, the cleaning song, wash your hands song. And I think a lot of these content is actually helping not just like spreading that message of, hygiene, personal hygiene and all that, but it's like, you're creating this, it's just like a nice piece of entertainment too. Like, it's not just about education. It's about like, how do you keep people sane in this insane situation?
Insane moment, right?
Yeah. So we actually, well, with this whole, we see a lot of content that came in. So we actually created this campaign called Stay Home, Stay Happy, where we encourage creators around the world to submit their own videos. Since they're already creating them, we might as well, gather them all, and then we will reward 1 or 2 winners per week who created the best video, and that winner will get $1,000. And I think that's like a really nice thing to also give back to, and also help our creators community to, still have fun, still, doing their own creative work during this time.
So this one should do well. It's cats.
Yes.
Cats always do well.
Oh yeah. Cats, babies, dogs. Always.
So what are the keys to doing great memes? People watching might want to do memes, and we're getting interesting comments. Actually, Nick again is saying that memes can be an interesting insight to culture in terms of looking at marketing and communications. And a lot of people are looking at it in that way.
Absolutely. Because even before I worked in 9gag, I think there's a lot of consumer inspiration, like consumer insights, like how they are, talking about a certain product or a certain service. People only talk about things that they can resonate, or the people only discuss things that they share or relate to. And I think it's actually powerful when you look at memes or that kind of shared emotion when it's talking about certain brands or a certain service. It actually gives you that sort of insight as to like how to reach these people or how to create content that would get their attention. And so I think like if you're a brand or if you're a marketing or you're working in an agency, actually there's a lot of inspiration when looking at memes, because like that's all created by the people. So that's where your grassroots are.
Right. Dario just joined, says, have you seen an increase of the year-on-year traffic?
Yeah, I think I think Q1 is always I think Q1 in general is like not the highest traffic in the year, but then I think we're still seeing active users during this time, and that's higher than last year.
So
and
it's less about the increase of users, but the actions that they're taking there.
Activities. Definitely more activities and interactions for sure. So we're still distributing and curating content that based on the performance and the kind of performance that we have seen. So this is definitely, like, I won't say it's like best time for publishers, but I mean, this is a tough time for any businesses. But yeah. I think in the content sense, like, we're seeing a lot of great content that comes out of, in the user generated perspective.
And in looking at between social media platforms, the question from Nick: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, are you seeing any trends about who is winning the battle for people visiting and posting things or becoming?
I can't really put my finger on it, because it's still an early race, because I feel like platforms versus platforms it's hard. It's definitely difficult, because like you can't just magically create functionalities that are tailored for this situation, because like we don't have the time. And even when we talk to Instagram, like they're just trying to really trying to find a way that they can piece something together with the existing stuff. So it's hard for platforms to really go out of their way to compete, giving that sort of functionality for creators. But I think what is interesting is like when you're staying at home, the type of content has definitely shifted, like what kind of content you consume. So rather than like always fast-paced content, I think there are a lot of home workout videos, cooking videos that are actually also working really well in this kind of situation that we're in. So I won't say like which platform is doing better than which. So it's hard to say which one is doing better, but we're seeing it as in a content category perspective, like what is actually working for our audience.
Okay, so quickly, in terms of what is working, what makes a great meme? It definitely has to have cats in it.
No, actually, the cat can only be your little sprinkle of fairy dust. Like it can't be just cats. I mean, like it like a good memes that everybody share and everyone has that same share that same humor. It has to come from the content itself, like the context itself, like what is really unique about it, what's the humor behind it, and what sort of cultural references you're making. So is it about a video, is it about a TV show, is it about like political stuff? So I think it's like a mixture of that, but the thing, the object that appears in the meme, it's actually secondary. Like it just helps you tell the story, but right. It's not the.
So it's the story that matters most.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like you can't just use cats and create something that people can resonate with.
Okay, next meme.
Okay, Well, so this right. So this guy is like working out, and then we're also seeing like because the Met Gala was canceled, and people are doing their own fashion show with this is one of the winners that we had like a couple of weeks ago, and he's just like dressed up with cleaners, cleaning products, and he's like wearing different stay at home outfits, and this is the kind of creativity I was talking about. Like everything can be a prop, and it doesn't matter like your what the background looks like or whatever, like the context of it really grabs people attention, and I think this is the winner because of that.
And finally, is there? I think you have the one more with the Trevor Noah one, which you're doing.
Right.
What is this? What is this initiative about?
So essentially, like there's a lot of initiative that Instagram was doing to help COVID-19, and especially in terms of like false information or like where you can get your information in your local health organizations. So they are really hoping to spread that message across with tons of different influencers, like all the big names that are on Instagram. And we actually worked with them to host a live Q&A with Trevor Noah as the host. So Trevor actually took over the 9gag account to interview with Adam Story, the head of Instagram. So they actually talked about, lots of different things. So we're basically using the 9gag community to help them spread that message and using showing that the power of our community. And we had really great results. And I think this is just one of the examples where we're seeing, audience actually want to have like a live interaction with brands or with like just like a live human, and then have real time interactions. So this is one of the things that we did.
Interesting. Excellent. Okay. Any final thoughts on memes and the way they're going and pandemic humor?
I would just love to see like what, like as this is going, like we're like some countries are in like their second month, some countries in their first couple of weeks of working from home or quarantine. And I think like it will be interesting to see like what kind of content sort of shift as we're going along. Like maybe 3 months in we'll not see any workout videos. We will see something that's more ridiculous, or I don't know. Like it's like that's why it's interesting.
Have you been able to trace that so far? Hong Kong's been in lockdown much longer than, for example, New York.
Right.
It'd be interesting to see if there are patterns of the kinds of things people are talking about.
Yeah. So I think being in Asia, we were sort of like one step ahead in that working from home situation. But like I think we were able to trace like the first maybe first couple weeks, like maybe first 2 weeks of what kind of content we should anticipate, or what kind of content would work better. But I think as time goes along with Europe and US, like I think we are seeing something that is more like out of the box, because I think it comes with like the creator culture as well. Like different countries has their own culture with like how creators work or how creators work together. And I think definitely I would personally want to see like what kind of thing could come out, because like nobody is like an expert in memes, like not myself, not anybody, because like it just evolves every second as we're speaking. So I would be I don't know, like I don't know what to expect, but I think the type of content, it will still be around like how we stay connect and stay positive in a way while we're self-isolating. And I think like that's the kind of I don't know what kind of content we should expect.
Well, Joanna a moment ago suggested that we should be pulling together all this material, because as a historic archive, it will be an incredible thing for future generations to see how the world coped with this in terms of the various phases and the various stages and cultures in dealing with this incredible global situation.
For sure. Like if you look at the memes in day one of the pandemic and you track it to the the end of it, like I think it will be a very interesting timeline to see how our lifestyle and thinking and all that comes together.
Fascinating. Thank you so much, Karen, for joining.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, and stay safe.
Stay safe.